Now a quick walkthrough on how to swap the motor is first, get the master link off the chain here and that'll free all that up, and then remove the 2 bolts in the front and the back of the motor. Those will be easy to locate. Once those are loose, make sure you remove your throttle from the old motor. Once that's done, you put the old motor in the corner. Get your new motor out, and if you have a CVT, you'll want to get a riser here so that those have enough room to operate. Now that's the drive gear and the driven gear in the back. Make sure that when you put the belt on, you install them at the same time, and that will make life a lot easier. Once that's done, connect the chain behind the driven gear and then to the rear, and you'll be all set to go after you get the throttle connected. Make sure that's all tuned up and set to go. We have a thumb throttle here, and then after that, you're good to ride. Now a great option, even if you're using the same motor to get more power, is a 30 series torque converter. This is 2 simple gears that adjust to get you more speed and torque. Now the drive gear in the front expands, making the gear larger, getting you more torque from the beginning. Now as you go faster, the driven gear will expand, shrinking the gear in the rear for a higher top speed. So it'll get you more low end torque and a higher top speed. And if that's not enough, you can get more power. Starting with the drive gear, you can put in an aluminum weight, which causes it to launch in higher RPM. This is the part that expands to move the belt. Now for the driven gear. This little red spring back here can be replaced with a higher tension spring, such as yellow or green. Personally, yellow is my favorite. It makes first gear a little bit longer, get you some more speed. And here's the stock drivetrain. A 10-tooth clutch hooked up to this big gear puts a lot of stress on the clutch, and your max speed becomes about 25 miles an hour. Now if you look at this 10-tooth gear back here, raise that to an 11 or 12-tooth gear and you'll get some more speed. But if you're going to go to that trouble, just go ahead and delete most of this and just run a straight chain. That means from clutch all the way to the rear sprocket, and you can flip that clutch around if you need to line them up a little bit better. Now for a power upgrade. 24mm Nibby carburetor. The choke is located in the rear right here, and then the throttle adjustment screw right next to the air to fuel screw. Now ours is kind of tight back here in the corner, and we have just enough room to fit an air filter. And good luck for us because we're going in the sand later. And we can't forget the exhaust. Cheap, easy power gains, easy to put on, and easily montable. As you can see, we had to cut ours back here and re-weld it because it was pushing up into the seat, and we have that solved now. And the Ducar 224 swap. This is actually the same motor that I have on my go-kart, which hits 45 miles an hour with a solid axle. The only difference here is this one has a fuel pump, which actually doesn't add any power. And I think that's the end of our list today. Now it's time to ride. Okay, so I have driven the stock form with the normal drivetrain, and then this 224 as well. There is a huge difference, over double the speed easy, and it feels like double the power for sure, because if you floor it, you just stand straight up wheelie. It's so quick, and if you floor it in the dirt, you just spin and shoot it everywhere. So make sure you're straight when you're flooring it. As for the suspension on the bike, well, how good is your back? That's the suspension. Just kidding, the front forks do have a suspension there which absorbs a lot of the up and downs, but still you're taking quite a bit to the back. But I do have to hand it to Coleman because my god, this seat is soft and absorbs quite a bit of bounce. Now, even though this only comes with one brake in the rear, it's hydraulic and it does very well. You can lock it up if you need to, but it's pretty strong. Now, it's hard to show you the steepness of this hill because GoPro, right? But to show you the power and torque of this new 224, we're gonna go up it too. Oh my god, that was a vicious ride, but if you scoot back a little bit and get your weight over that rear tire, Jesus, this thing just climbs. That was crazy. I still have to tune the top end, and remember this? Not optimal, but dirt speed test. Here we go. Now right here it becomes a little bit bumpy, and I try and give it some more, but you know, with the solid suspension it has no give, so I can't do that much. If I had it tuned, we would definitely take 42, 43. If it was a little bit more packed dirt, I can guarantee 45. Now this is actually where we hill test the bikes, because that first hill, some bikes just can't make it up that actually. Well, that was about 3 more miles an hour than my fully modded 196, so we're doing well. Now on to the dry riverbed sand. This stuff is so thick and horrible. Oh my god. I'm not going to floor it through here because I don't have it tuned for full throttle perfectly just yet, so probably about halfway throttle, maybe blip it a couple times because we're in a tunnel. And even coming out of the thick sand here up to this little steep hill, if you just get your weight over that back tire, I mean, it climbs with so much power, it's such a weird feeling. Now with no suspension on the bike, except for in the front, the easiest way to combat these up, downs, and whoops is just stand up. Use your knees. It's easier to balance than a pit bike. And lastly, a quick little uphill run, which I would go faster, but the ground may not allow that. Finally, the road test. Now it's not tuned on the top end yet, and I am turning half the time, but damn, we still get a good high speed. So untuned and definitely being scared in that corner, could have hit 50 miles an hour pretty easy. If I had some better street tires, oh my god, talking 55 miles an hour. Quick recap, 30 series torque converter. You can put it on anything from a 196 to a 224. If you're swapping from a clutch, get an engine riser plate. It doesn't add power, but it will increase speed and acceleration. And even then, it can still be modified for more torque or acceleration. Now, the stock motor can still be modified by straight chaining or giving it a 30 series torque converter to get more speed, as well as adding an exhaust, but before adding an aftermarket intake, you must remove the governor. The Ducar 224 does not come with a governor or a flywheel. You'll have to order one separately. They are very easy to install. Well, I think that's all the information I have for today. Feel free to drop a comment or ask a question. Hell, even like or subscribe. We do all kinds of weird shit over here. But thanks again for dropping by Hunted Mini Bikes, and we'll see you on the next one.